Well, hello my beautiful Pisces, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, of course, you can see I'm in a different location at this time. I've just gone to visit family for the next coming weeks, but I will be back in my usual space after that. So I thought I'd explain the new environment there. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Pisces, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. The first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile is the unified energy of how things are going to come together, okay? Now, also, I want you to be aware if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive, that is not a twin flame connection. That's more likely to be a false flame connection, and it will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time, okay? The difference, of course, is that a false flame, or even a karmic, will trigger you without evolution. Okay, that's how you will know, when both parties are just going round and round in a toxic cycle and there is no personal development or growth. Okay, a twin flame is a spiritual awakening, of course. It is a very romantic, passionate, intense relationship at the very beginning. However, it's more of a physical kind of connection between two people who promote healing, okay? It's a process that prepares to release low vibrational energy that keeps anyone stuck in fear, addictive patterns, or unhealthy attachments. And it's a very intense inner vibrational transformation. However, it is a journey that must be taken alone because it is a personal journey of discovery. And that means there tends to be a runner, a chaser, and a separation period. Now, that's not always true to form, but it tends to be typical of this particular relationship. And, the twin flame dynamic, it has a purpose. It has a job to do. It triggers each twin in order for them to separate, to discover their true sense of purpose, and also embrace unconditional love. And only then can the reunion process take place and offer a sustainable relationship. Now, it's not a game, it's an energetic exchange. It's a sacred union that is forged as a result of shared difficulty and pain. And your twin will reflect back to you your greatest strengths, but also your greatest weaknesses. And of course, their presence is to amplify anything that has been left unhealed, things that you experienced before you even met your twin. This will be amplified in the relationship process to promote healing, personal development, and growth. Now, notice that I said that they reflect back to you because it is a mirrored experience, okay? When your twin looks at you, they actually see all the things within themselves that they need to heal. Things that they've been running away from their whole life. So I feel it's very important to recognize that, the twin is projecting feelings of fear or low self-worth into the connection, and they are avoidant of certain things that are not personal, and that's one of the hardest things to acknowledge, that they're running away from themselves. They're running away from their feelings there. So I feel it's important to recognize that the twin flame dynamic, the chaser, is often the person who is willing to really surrender to the union, to go deep into the connection. And even though it is a very exposing relationship, there's no way to hide when you're in a true twin flame connection. You know, it's a deep, all-consuming energy. But the runner, you know, they feel this overwhelming unconditional love. And they don't trust it, because twin flames, they tend to have had some sort of traumatic experience before they even meet each other. And there's often either insecurities, abandonment issues, trust issues, addictions, codependency that is present in a person, and they need nurturing. And of course, I hate this sentence, but it's just come up. My guides are giving it to me. I don't like it personally, but my guides are giving it to me. You know, I feel sometimes it's an excuse, okay? But when we, you know, truly love a person, you know, we kind of push them away because they get a little bit too close, especially if you're dealing with something. You know, they always say you love the ones you hurt the most. And I hate that sentence. I don't like it at all. I don't even want to promote it in this reading, but it's just come up. I have to honor everything that my guides give me. So thanks so much. I'm truly grateful. But I feel this person, there is a lot of love there, but I will tap into their energy just to clarify what went down in this connection. I can see that you are starting with the Hangman energy in your pile. So this tells me that you surrendered to the union. There's a lot of love there, but right now you're feeling very lost. You know, you may have felt like you have gone through a cycle with this person where it feels like it's 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. It just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You're kind of like suspended in this connection. It may also feel like your world got turned upside down in some way with this connection, but we'll get to each pile in a moment. Now, sometimes twins have gone through a level of trauma where they are completely broken, okay, and they seek healing, but they seek it in other people. And one of the lessons in a twin flame dynamic is that happiness is not tied up with another person, okay? You must learn to love oneself on your own, of course, because the cup of love starts with the self first. And you know, you cannot offer love to another person, especially if there's self-loathing or if there is feelings of low self-worth, for example. So I feel that's something also to take into account in a twin flame dynamic. But, you know, twin flames, they find it hard to articulate their feelings from a healthy place, especially if they've gone through some sort of challenging or difficult experience or trauma in their past, because they may have unhealed responses, the fight or flight mode, especially if they are disassociating when they start to feel. Because if they've been numbing feelings, for example, or running away from something, as soon as they start to feel, they start to get scared. So looking at the energy, they've got a 9 of Swords. This person, they tend to tear themselves down, self-sabotage. This person, you know, they're haunted by something from their past when you get a 9 of Swords. So we'll tap into what's going on there. Oh my gosh. I'm sending you a huge hug out there. So much love, my beautiful Pisces, because of course you've got the 2 of Cups there. You love this person with all of your being, okay? There is an energy here. I hope you can catch that on camera there. 2 of Cups, you knew immediately that this person was someone really special, your twin. There's a bond like no other there with that 2 of Cups energy. I feel there is this energy right there of a deep bond, a connection like no other, and an understanding. You understood this person from a different level, and you offered friendship as well. You know, I feel like you offered a safe space for them to be themselves. And I'm sending you a huge hug out there because I can see how much of a lonely journey it has been for you. And I always say, do not wait for your twin, because each party has their own path to navigate back towards each other. And sometimes it can take days, weeks, months, decades, years, you know, so never wait for your twin. In divine order, you will be brought back together in union. You have the Wheel of Fortune here and the Ace of Cups, which means when unconditional love for self has been fulfilled, then divine order will take place and help you reunite. We have the Emperor, maturity energy, stepping into divine counterpart energy will be the catalyst for change here. But I can see that you've withdrawn your energy, so that actually is the measure of change, because anything that you are not changing, you're accepting at this time. And I feel like you have recognized it's time to remove your energy from this person and step away because you're exhausted, you're fed up, you can't do this anymore. So, you know, I like to explain twin flames like magnets, okay? Both identical in polarity. There is a push and pull. There is that space in between, because magnets that are identical in frequency, they attract each other but also repel. They never quite connect, if that makes sense, okay? That space in between is the separation period, and it has a purpose, so that both magnets have the opportunity to change their frequency through their sense of purpose in order to come together in a vibrational match. So if we say this is the chaser, you know, if the chaser keeps reaching out to their twin, it will perpetuate a cycle of repeat. You know, reaching out to ask if they're okay, or ask them what happened, or, you know, asking them to meet to get closure. All of those things are reaching out. The energy is going outside of oneself. But if the chaser puts all that love, care, and devotion inwards, unconditional love, and also focusing on their sense of purpose, that's when you change the vibration within self, okay? And then this magnet comes closer because the frequency is different, and it encourages your twin to either step up or step out of the union. The polarities often flip. The runner becomes the chaser and vice versa. And then, of course, they come together in a match when both parties are locked onto their sense of purpose, and they connect to a higher level of value within self, to know their worth, so that they can offer love from a healthy place, okay? Now, that's a really bite-sized idea of what it means to be in a twin flame connection. Let's see what's going on with your energy right now. This is a card of suspension. We've got the Hangman. But of course, this card is also your energy. It is a Piscean card. And I really feel here that you are focusing on you. You're learning more about yourself and what you're capable of at this time, okay? Now, of course, this card indicates that the lesson is healing. You've got the star right there. But as you can see in the gut instinct, you know, over the gut instinct, there is a maze. So a lot of you are feeling a little bit lost, or not knowing the direction, or trying to find the way at this moment in time, and you're suspended in an energy of not knowing. But it is here that you grasp onto that healing. That star actually brings you into alignment with your person, but you must acknowledge that there is new wisdom here about yourself. You're seeing things clearly. Because we have the Wheel of Fortune there as well, the crown chakra is always highlighted on a Hangman card. So it indicates the knowingness of divine order, that you and your person will come back together in a union, but you must trust the process and surrender. And I feel like you did surrender to this process, but in the process, I feel you sacrificed yourself. You may have sacrificed your own needs. You've given so much to this connection, all of your love, care, and devotion, and you just don't know anymore. I feel like you're withdrawing right now because you're exhausted. This is a card of suspension, so it means you're not giving to this connection anymore because you feel bereft, you feel lost, confused, but also you feel that, you know, there's no reciprocity. You have that Two of Cups, which represents balance and reciprocity, and you wanted to be with this person, but, you know, in offering all of yourself, you've lost a part of yourself, and you may be putting all those tiny little pieces back together, as it were, in order to rebuild, and you're not giving to this connection. And in that very kind of action, you are the catalyst for change, because you are promoting this person to step up or step out by removing your presence and your givingness to this connection. You know, I feel like you are not giving to this anymore. I feel there's this energy of like you've sacrificed enough, okay, and you've withdrawn in order to get a different perspective. Now, some of you, this is a questioning card, so it can be that you're wondering, is this person even your twin? Now, looking at the energy, I would say yes, because we've got the Two of Swords there, which means this person is in a stalemate position. They're not really open to love at this time. They're dealing with something that haunts them from their past, something that perhaps they've either told you about, or if they haven't, they will speak their truth. This person actually is haunted by the fact that they withdrew. That's what I'm seeing here. This person, regrets, because the Nine of Swords is a regret card and the Two of Swords is a stalemate position. They regret kind of removing themselves or protecting themselves or not seeing the true value of the relationship because they were so consumed by their own fears, is what I'm seeing. Now, I will try to get to a deeper position with that to see why, because there's always a reason why. But ultimately, I feel right now you're not sure about this connection. You're feeling a little bit like uncertain, as it were. And I feel you're trying really hard to understand more about the situation. And of course, invest in self. I mean, the Page of Pentacles indicates that you're very loyal. You gave all of yourself to this connection. You did what you could, but you're being practical now. You feel it's time to apply yourself to your projects. And that's where the sweet spot is, because you're focusing on your sense of purpose. The Wheel of Fortune is there to guide you towards your true life's mission and purpose path, because every twin has a purpose. And I feel like you're more invested in that at this time. But also the Page of Pentacles can indicate that you're learning. You're learning in this process about reciprocity. You tend to be an overgiver. And with that Hangman, it's like you're holding back. There is an energy here of conservation. That's what I'm being given. Conservation. To give, but to match a vibration, not to overgive. Okay? So you're learning about your value at this time. And I feel like you're working on yourself. I feel like this relationship, it raised your hopes up and then they came crashing down. I also feel here that there's this energy of you trying not to be afraid or because there is moments, what I'm seeing is moments where you're completely fine. I don't need this person. I'm getting on with my life. I can't do this anymore. I'm fed up. I'm exhausted with this. It's challenging and I just don't need this level of challenge in my life. I'm just going to focus on what's important, my duties, my responsibilities, my money, my practicality. I feel a lot of you are kind of being really realistic with this situation and trying to build stability in your life and focus on you. You were dependable. You were loyal to this person and you offered a really wonderful foundation for them to express themselves and feel safe in your comfort and care. But right now you recognize that you have to flip that back inwards on yourself, because the Hangman isn't introversion card. It means you are flipping things on its head right now because you feel that this kind of connection actually turned your world upside down. My guides are highlighting, there's a little elephant in the background of this card, which there is there. I hope you can see that on the camera there. Elephants never forget, okay? You have a long memory, so you're not going to forget this person. You're not going to forgive at first some of the things that has gone down here. This person must take accountability for actions, and I feel like they will, okay? I do feel there is healing and maturity in this because there is love. The root of this relationship, there is love. The Ace of Cups is there, and this is your outcome. I mean, this is how they feel about you right now. This is how you feel about them. You feel that maybe they're focused on their finances. You may feel that, deep down you know that they love you. And if you don't, I'm here to tell you that they do, because they're so consumed by a fear. And I feel this person, they fear loss. Such a strange kind of conundrum where a person feels that they have to push something valuable away because they fear to lose it. It's better to remain in control because the Emperor is there, which is all about control. It's better to remain in control and push a person away so that they don't get hurt, but inadvertently they hurt you. So I feel there is this energy here of this person regretting their actions and doing a deeper dive emotionally and spiritually in order to mature in this situation and recognize that love can save the day, that actually you were sent to them as a divine union in order to trigger a process of healing. So this Two of Cups indicates that deep down you want to reunite with this person. You love this person. You love them so much. You know that they are your divine counterpart. And you understand this person in a different way. You saw this person as being with you for your life, your destiny, being a couple for the rest of your journey on this earthly plane. But this Two of Cups indicates there's still love there. The love doesn't go anywhere, but you need reciprocity. You need them to step up. Okay, you may have even thought, as I mentioned, you may have even thought of offering this person friendship, but it was just too hard. So a lot of you have kind of like shut down in order to protect yourself, which of course is not a game. It's an energetic exchange, but I feel there is a need there for you to surrender to the union, surrender to the lesson, because of course the hangman is to surrender to the lesson. And I feel the lesson is about reciprocity here, knowing one's value, but also unconditional love, because you have that Ace of Cups. But I'm just going to pull a quick card just to see a little bit deeper on this. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Pisceans? What do they need to know in this connection? We have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, you are the catalyst for change. We got the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords. Even though it is hard for you to separate or walk away from this person, because a lot of you are like deciding to walk away or thinking about removing yourself to teach this person what it feels like to have your absence in their life, okay? This Ace of Wands indicates, you know, a catalyst for change, but it also indicates some of you are thinking about, you know, starting again. You're fed up of having to start again, but the Ace of Wands can indicate that you may be thinking about connecting to someone new or trying to see if there's chemistry with another person. You know, the Ten of Swords can indicate a lot of you are like, it's done, it's over, it's too painful. You're broken by this. You know, Ten of Swords is a very painful experience, and I'm sending you a huge hug out there. The twin flame experience is a very lonely journey because often the healing process is done alone. But you repeat a cycle in order to come back together in healing and see how far you've come on that journey, whether you've got to a position where you can maintain a healthy relationship. And we got the Three of Swords. I mean, these cards indicate at the root of this relationship, you know, some sort of hurt or wound has transformed how this relationship could have been. So it's like the pain that is deep down, I have to find out. I mean, I feel it's your person. There is some pain here. The Nine of Swords indicates they are haunted by something from their past, and they have created a shield around their heart and disassociated from like the idea of love. They've all got swords. You know, they've got the Justice card, which is the sword of truth, to be strict with oneself, to try and find balance. You know, they've got the Nine of Swords, which is to be absent emotionally, which is to detach, disassociate, to protect oneself, to be literally living a nightmare in their head, because swords are all very cerebral. And of course, they've got the Two of Swords there as well, which is stalemate, shut down. It is interesting. It is a discussion, because I feel this person, when I touch the card, they want to save this. If you think about the nature of the camel there, okay, it's like something was the straw that broke the camel's back, but also the camel is to conserve. So I feel this person does want to save the relationship. They do want a solution because they've got the Justice card, but I feel the root cause is some sort of pain or wounding that stopped your person from truly living their truth or being honest with their feelings. They're avoidant. Okay. Now also, this can represent the pain of separation for you, because the Ten of Swords is like you saying enough. You can't do this anymore. It's done. It's painful. You may have felt this person betrayed you or betrayed your trust, because how can you trust this person not to push you away again? Even if they try and show you with action over words, because right now they do have action cards, but they also have a lot of words cards. So, I mean, in your future, I do see them maturing, but right now the Two of Swords indicates it's a stalemate. No one's talking. Everything is silent. So, but when I touch the card, I feel there is an energy here of adaptation, but also mediation. So I feel this person may tell you that they are seeking a counselor. You know, they're going through some sort of process where they really face something, and I feel they want to discuss this with you. So looking at this, you know, the Three of Swords can indicate, yes, it's painful to step back or end this relationship with that Ten of Swords, but it's necessary in order to transform the relationship, because the Ace of Wands is that spark of transformation. It is the spark of the divine. So you withdrawing at this time, you are acknowledging healthier boundaries and teaching your person how you like to be treated by saying, no, I'm not giving to this anymore. You step up or you step out. And I feel this is the catalyst for change. Your person is the cause and effect card, okay? So this indicates that this person right now, they are owning their truth. There is accountability here. They're sitting with themselves and they are recognizing, you know, what they did, because this is a cause and effect card. This can indicate the truth comes out, that they want to discuss something. You know, this is a discussion. This is about being honest. And I feel like this person, looking at the energy, they have regrets, but I feel like they were in their truth. So I don't see any third party situation. I don't see any like lying, for example. But what I do see is a denial of feelings, because the Two of Swords is like shut off. It's like, no, I'm not entering into this. I am protecting myself. It's like they didn't imagine they would fall in love with you. And they got very stuck in their head, because Nine of Swords is fear. Nine of Swords is to like make themselves scarce, be absent, because in their head, as I said, they're living some sort of nightmare. But I need to find out what this is. For some of you with that Justice card, it can indicate that they had a previous relationship, a contract, either with a karmic, maybe they were married or in a high-level commitment with somebody, and it was very abusive or it was very toxic, and it tore them down and it robbed them of their sense of self. So they felt they couldn't offer any of themselves to the relationship because the broken pieces of themselves have not been put back together yet. They were a shell of themselves. But there is a catalyst here for change and healing. So let me just see if I can see a little bit deeper, because right now, looking at their cards, they're very disassociated. They're in fight or flight mode. They're detached. What has been the root cause of this? Because something has happened that has made them like this. Now, I'm not here to give anyone excuses or a way out. Okay, humans are very complex, and I'm here to understand both sides of the story here so I can understand the outcome. But right now, this person is very closed off. Temperance, they're learning about balance. Also, they are learning to focus more on their purpose path. You know, sometimes we are blocked from our twins on purpose just for the reason to get them to focus on their soul mission. So if they've been living a life of chaos or excess, as it were, or out of balance, the twin flame separation, you know, to be with your twin is all consuming. So you would never get anything done because you're so consumed by being with your twin. So sometimes our guides have to step in and cause, you know, the separation period so that you will focus on your true life's mission because you have a purpose. Everything is connected. But I need to see a little bit more about this person. The Chariot card. King of Pentacles. Now, I am getting like a parental type figure that was in and out of their life. It could be masculine, doesn't have to be, but the King of Pentacles obviously suggests a masculine figure that was in and out of their life, because we got the Chariot card. Your person may have also always been moving about or moving around or staying with different family members, for example. So I feel the very root of this person is a very chaotic one, a turbulent one. So they may have come from a very turbulent household, for example, parents or guardians arguing, divorcing. That is their very foundation of what it means to love. So they may have sought very challenging or toxic relationships to feel alive in those relationships. Okay, and they got involved with either a karmic or even a false flame connection, and it basically broke them apart. Okay, that's what I'm getting from this at first. King of Pentacles, I feel like they may have also chosen materialistic goals or pathways. Chariot card is all about ambition. Okay, this person, I feel like they've always been on the run, always, from the very beginning, from a very young age. So I feel this person, they will come towards you and tell you this. Now, of course, this person also has to recognize that witnessing parental kind of guidance or narratives, you know, parents tend to be, especially that generation, tend to be unhealed. So they're guiding the next generation from an unhealed place. Not all parents or guardians, and there's no blame here, okay? Every parent is trying to do the best that they can, I hope, in a situation. Not always the case, unfortunately, but, you know, typically they are. And no one comes here with a manual of how to do life. We're all just making decisions with the options that we've got in that moment. And sometimes when we look back at those options, we cannot judge because there's a different set of rules or parameters that they're dealing with that perhaps we are not privy to in this time space that we live in. So there's no blame game here. But looking at the energy, I feel like your person is trying to recalibrate and reprogram their past to recognize that what happened in the past is not their narrative right now. They're trying to be very present because that Two of Swords is there, which means to be present in the present moment, as it were, and protect one's inner peace. So it can be that this person, they're trying to free themselves up or detach or sever a cord with a very haunting or traumatic experience from their past that is not their narrative anymore. Whilst it shaped who they are, it no longer holds power over who they are right now, and certainly should not impact their future happiness with you, my beautiful Pisceans. So I'm not being given the root cause of this, but I do see this person is very haunted by something. Let me see one more. Can you please clarify the Nine of Swords specifically in this situation? What are they afraid of? What is going on there in this connection? Ten of Cups, something in the family. Okay, yeah, it's something in the family, something to do with the family. I mean, it could be family interference. Okay, it could also be that there is some sort of toxicity in the family and they just didn't want you to be a part of that or privy to that. They could also have family responsibilities where they had to make a decision and step up and lead in a family situation and almost sacrifice their happiness and their love because of the responsibility. Sometimes that can happen. So I feel like with the Justice card, they felt like in that moment they were doing the right thing, even though the repercussions caused a lot of hurt and pain. So I just heard, I was in a rock and a hard place. So I don't know what that means and what it's pertaining to. So please take it as it resonates. I'm going to disconnect from the energy, but it just came through. So it's almost kind of suggesting, and I don't really like this energy until I've got proof, of course, almost suggesting, this person is suggesting that like they didn't have a choice or the options were hard. So I'm going to sort of move away from that energy because I'm not really sure where they're going with that. But the Nine of Swords, even if you look up the meaning of the cards or even see the image of the Nine of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, that person is haunted by some sort of nightmare from the past or visions of fear. I feel like this person was also bullied when they were younger because I'm just hearing lots of people making fun of someone. Thank you so much, I'm truly grateful. That's awful. So if you're a cross-watcher, I feel like you need to be aware that if anyone ever bullied you or tried to tear you down, it's because they were aware of your infinite power and they saw you as a threat. They saw you as someone who is more confident or powerful than them, and they wanted to tear you down so that you could reach their level and try and rob you of your infinite empowerment to be the best that you could be. Bullies tend to have been bullied as well. It's like a knock-on effect, but when they see someone who is capable of so much or more beautiful than them or more successful than them or more confident than them, they fall into a cycle of repeat and try and tear down that person. So if you've been bullied in the past, even if you're not a cross-watcher, I want you to be aware of that very fact, that they saw you as more powerful than they could ever be and they tried to limit your greatness. Okay, so in that knowledge, step up and rise and know that you are enough and that you are incredible. Okay? But, this Nine of Swords is an indication that this person, I feel like they have so much regret that they can't sleep sometimes. You're always on their mind because this is how they feel about you. The cause and effect card is there. There was a knock-on effect here. Something happened where they were like, they made a decision and it destroyed everything. So I feel this person, whatever it is, the root cause of it, they're haunted by it all the time. And I feel this person wants to find a solution. I feel like they want to step up. I feel like they want to lead. And I feel like they will initiate some sort of conversation with you. But it's not now. I got to be honest with you. Two of Swords says, nope, nobody's talking. There's no communication. But also I feel this desire, so I will pull a card on it. I do feel this desire to want to have a tete-a-tete. A head-to-head is what I'm being given, a tete-to-tete. So maybe this person speaks French. or there's some sort of connection to France there. I'm not sure. But Two of Swords is like, I keep seeing two people sit opposite each other across the table. So either this is you and your person in the future, or this is a person seeking counseling, because the Nine of Swords, something is causing them anguish, or they're in crisis, or they were in crisis when they met you. They have a lot of guilt, and they worry that perhaps it'll always be this way. They have regrets. That's what I'm being given, okay? They will literally tell you when they speak to you next that they have sleepless nights about how things went down. Oh, I gotta go get that card because it just popped over there. I'm clarifying specifically the Nine of Swords and the Two of Swords. Ten of Wands, something ended. Seven of Cups. Yeah, I feel like they have baggage from a previous experience. If you know the Ten of Wands, it normally means this person's carrying a lot, a heavy load, a responsibility on their shoulders. Either a family wounding. I don't know, did you see that big flash of shadow that went there? And I even heard an electric kind of like, hope it got caught on camera there. But anyway, I feel, thank you so much, I'm so grateful. I'm just being given by my guides, haunted by the ghosts of the past. Haunted by the ghosts of the past. Okay, so this could be a past relationship. Ten of Wands is this person carrying something around with them, or it can be responsibility, the heavy burden of responsibility in the family. The Seven of Cups is like a commitment issue. It made them feel very scattered. They couldn't focus on what they truly wanted. They had to accept their fate in a situation, is what I'm being given. This is a very complex twin flame connection reading. So I feel this person, something heavy here. Either something connected to the family, definitely connected to the family, but something that perhaps they've sought resolution over, or they're trying to find a solution to, because it's like a truth will come out. And then once it's all out there, if they haven't told you already, because I feel like you wouldn't step away or whatever this is, but they feel like you would either judge them or leave them. So, for example, if someone in their family had done something so horrific, it's like by association, they feel that you could judge them based on something that a family member did that was so horrific. Now, I'm not saying it's that, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it could be. Okay, so I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go get that other card. One moment, please. Sorry about that, my beautiful Pisceans. So we got the Chariot card. So this person is moving away from this, or they're processing this. And I feel like it was their obstacle to overcome. It's their lesson to learn in this twin flame dynamic. I feel like this person has always been on the run from something, okay? And it's something from the very foundation of them. And this person, I feel like they will step up and tell you the truth. It's definitely something to do with the family, is what I'm seeing there. And it's a heavy responsibility or heavy burden. I mean, they may have been witnessing something, you know. Oof, thanks so much, I'm so grateful. This is very dramatic, and this is definitely not going to resonate with everyone, but I just heard witness protection as well. So I'm just going to leave that there. That's not something I want to get into, okay? So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to disconnect from that energy. So some of you may be dealing with something like that, okay? Not all of you. I feel it's probably about like, well, it's very slim, like 1-2%. That's really small, okay? But for the majority of you, I feel this is a heavy responsibility or burden, okay? And I feel that this could literally be that they carried the baggage from a previous relationship into this one, and you got caught in the crossfire of their kind of like pain. It's like they wanted to love you, but they were so hurt, so broken that they just had nothing left within themselves to offer the relationship. So they thought they'd push you away to save you from their chaos. That's what I'm being given with this person, okay? But I feel they are in a period of pause. The Two of Swords tells me they've stopped running. That's a great thing. That is a catalyst for change, because you've withdrawn, so they've stopped running. Okay, remember the magnets. As soon as you withdraw your energy and focus all that energy inside, that stops the magnet from running or moving away, okay? Suddenly, it is the opportunity to step up and lead, or step out and leave. So I feel like they're in a period of making a decision. And of course, you're not just sitting around waiting for them to make a decision. You're not like sitting by your window, darning your socks by candlelight, hoping that they come back and choose you. Not at all. You are actually focusing on your life purpose. You're focusing on your mission, and in divine order, not on your twin flames terms, and actually not on your terms either. In divine order, because you have the Wheel of Fortune here, the universe will see when the cycles change and bring you back together in a union. That's what I'm seeing here. You're destined to be with each other. You're destined to meet again, at least in this lifetime, to really kind of have a conversation, a discussion about the pain in the relationship, to find balance in this relationship. And for some of you, there may be distance, physical distance, because of course there's a map there, but I feel more than anything, symbolically, this is about following your inner guidance compass system. It's like when you find your way back to yourself first, then the universe will guide you back to your twin. And that's absolutely what happened to me. So I feel this is something that you're in a process of. It is a rite of passage. You're on a journey back to self. And in that discovery, you will find the pathway back to your person. You can even bump into your person when the universe says it's time. So I want you to be aware of that. But balance is the key to this relationship. And I would say, my beautiful Pisceans, that your person, is going to communicate that they love you. But I would just be a little bit mindful, because this person, they've started their healing process. They are severely not even close to being ready, because they've got a 9 of Swords and they've got a 2 of Swords. So this person, it's going to be a very long process. This person is a very hurt person. And unfortunately, yes, hurt people also hurt people. So I feel like they didn't really want you to get caught in that crossfire. However, they feel like they have a contract with you. They feel that you are their destiny. They know there's something different about this relationship, but there's so much sorrow and despair in this person. They're suffering with these wounds. And I'm not here to make you feel sorry for this person or, to lessen their accountability. They've got the Justice card, which means they want to be responsible for what happened. They want to acknowledge that their actions had repercussions. It caused the breakdown of this relationship, and they regret it. But there's love here at the root. The lesson to be learnt in this connection, because I feel there's a lot of self-loathing with this person. This person, whatever this wound is or experience they had before they met you, and this is way before they met you, this is the foundation of them, whatever this is, it tears away at them, it eats away at them, okay? And they have to learn to love themselves fully. This is a card of self-compassion. It is a card of unconditional love for self. The cup of love starts with the self first, okay? So only then can the opportunity of love be sustainable and maintainable when, this person finds emotional care within themselves and stops self-sabotaging and tearing themselves down. But there is love there, and I feel you and this person will actually discover that in time, okay? I mean, the Ace of Cups indicates an offering. So in your future, I'm just going to tap in and see if it's in the next 6 weeks, but looking at your cards, I would say there is a level of knowledge and maturity being reached in the next 6 weeks. The Emperor energy suggests action, influence. So I just need to see, will that be in terms of messaging you, or is there going to be radio silence continuously for the next 6 weeks? Because they're in a 2 of Swords energy, which means they're closed off. They're not discussing anything. Maybe with a counselor, they may talk to you about counseling. Thanks so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Pisceans? The Tower. The Tower is a shock, okay? It is the ego death. It is a breakdown of all that is not true. It is a breakdown of all that is not authentic. This person is really sitting in their truth. They're having a huge rude awakening. And I feel that they are having this wake-up call where they basically realize that they played safe in this connection. They shut themselves off. If you think about the 9 of Swords, it is a prison of fear. And the Tower, I always liken it to a prison. It is a construct that we build around ourselves, thinking that we've kept ourselves safe, Especially if you've been hurt in the past, you build a shield around your heart. You promise yourself you're never going to be hurt again. And that shield eventually becomes a fortress where it is impenetrable and nobody can love you. And you sit in that isolation and that sadness alone, and you realize that actually you prevented yourself from growing or loving another person. So I feel this person is realizing that. They're having a realization, an epiphany, and they are breaking down their walls. This may be aided with the help of a counselor for your person, because I feel they may actually seek counseling, or I don't see a friend counseling them. I mean, they do have a strong support network where they could talk about something, but I feel it's very closed off. This is locked off, very private. The Tower, if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, it can indicate taking a leap of faith. Okay, two figures, they leap out of the building because things have become so uncomfortable. The Tower is now on fire because a lightning bolt of truth and accountability and authenticity has hit the building. And of course, it knocks the crown chakra right off the Tower. And that is to know. And suddenly, you know, two people in the Tower, this is the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, they've been in that Tower for some time. You and your person have been in a cycle of repeat for so long that now you're fed up of it. And that is the catalyst for change. When suddenly you're like, enough, which is what you are at right now. You know, two people just going around, okay, we know the cycle, we know the MO, it's just fine. We're just slipping back into the old habits. Then suddenly the Tower hits and it's like, nope, not anymore. Things have to become so uncomfortable. And that's you withdrawing your energy from this person. They become uncomfortable in the fact that you are not reaching out to them. You're not there when they need you. And you've changed because you realize that if you continue to let things be as they are, you're accepting. And looking at the energy, you're not accepting this anymore. Oh my gosh, look at the cards. You know, you've got a Page of Pentacles, which is you. Okay, so that's you focusing on investing in self, seeing your value, being true to your needs, being practical, you know, being realistic, focusing on your stability. And we got the Justice card, your person taking accountability, stepping up, wanting to find a solution. So as you step back, this person is going to step forward. I feel like there is a conversation to come for you. And I would say it's on the cusp of the next 6 weeks. It will shock you because you're not expecting to hear from your person, but I feel like they will try to open up a dialogue with you. However, the physical side of meeting each other, I feel that's way later. That's not 6 weeks. And this person is not ready to offer you the love that you truly deserve and desire at this time. I want you to be aware of that, okay? Thank you so much, Spirit Guides and Angels. Look at the cards. Nobody knows how I truly feel, and I feel like this person is telling the truth. These are conversations of things that have been left unsaid. Nobody knows how I truly feel, and I feel this is a measure of their truth. This person has kept it all to themselves, and for some of you, my beautiful Pisceans, you may also feel the same. No one knows how lonely you feel in this connection, how bereft, how lost, how, you know, there is this sense of nothingness. But it is the catalyst for change. Remember the chrysalis. You know, the caterpillar marches straight into the chrysalis, not knowing that they're going to dissolve their sense of self and feel lost, or, you know, there's a nothingness there. But it is there that they are rebuilt, put back together differently, and they spread their wings and fly. So I feel like you and your person are in that chrysalis period right now. Next we have, I need to trust the way I feel. Okay, so this person has to acknowledge their fears. They have to work on their shadow self. This person has to learn to trust again, especially if they've been hurt in the past. And again, no excuse here. People who are really hurt and wounded, they find it hard to articulate their needs from a healthy place. So they have knee-jerk reactions and unhealed responses. Okay, that is something that is known when it comes to counseling, for example. So I feel this person, they need to dissect what it is they feel and trust it. Because right now they're in a cycle of fear. And trusting that fear is like they're realizing as they start to do the spiritual work, it's false evidence appearing real. And they need to see beneath it. The Two of Swords is like, actually, there's something else. If you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Two of Swords, there is a figure that is blindfolded and has two swords up protecting themselves as a shield, but there's no threat. Actually, it's just they're about to explore uncharted territory emotionally and they're afraid. So there are stepping stones that lead them to this big island, which basically is the transition period towards happiness and truth and a new experience. And you were that happiness, that truth, and that new experience, but they got scared. So they shut down and they put their guards up. So it says here, I avoided what I was feeling. And that is the truth of the matter. This person is very emotionally avoidant out of fear. But they will discuss the root cause of that fear because I feel it's quite private and it's connected to their family. I need to work on my shadows. So again, this highlights. I mean, you could have had any card in this deck. There's cards in there that says, I want to see you again. I want to reunite with you right now. Well, this one says, it just scares me to feel so much for you. So that can also be this person's truth. But you got cards that highlight this person's still not ready for the union. Now, this does not mean you have to wait, okay? As I said, do not wait for your twin. It is a process. Sometimes you could be waiting decades and you don't want to waste your wonderful time. With the Wheel of Fortune there, it highlights that in divine order, you will reunite. There is love there. But learn the lessons that you're meant to learn in this situation and all else will fall into place, okay? Trust the process. The Surrender card tells me that you're kind of trying to trust that process at this time, but it's hard. So we have the deer with the antlers there, okay? So this often represents something worth fighting for, okay? Also a level of maturity being reached. And, you know, your person has the Emperor energy there. So I'm not sure if I showed you the Emperor. I think I showed it to you earlier. But the Emperor energy indicates maturity. It indicates a 5-year plan. It indicates that because the Ace of Cups is there, there is love that will lead to settling down. So I feel, you know, you and your person can have a secure relationship because love wins the day. But the process has to be followed before you can reach that point in the first place. You know, the Emperor and the deer is also about respect for boundaries. Now, we've got the leaf, so this can indicate a person turning over a new leaf, okay? But also shedding something that's been a very heavy load for them for quite some time. And I'm really excited about the next trinket because it is a daisy and it means a fresh new start. And the Ace of Cups means a fresh new start from a healthier foundation. The universe is going to put you in the path to see this person again. And I feel this person, you know, they will lead with love, but they had to go through this process in order to discover how they really feel about something and let go of something that's been haunting them for a long time, that they've been running away from. They don't want to run anymore. The Two of Swords is there. If the Seven of Swords was there, I'd say, look, they want to keep running, okay? They want to be independent, wild, and free. But the Two of Swords says this person, they want to stop. They want to stay a while. In fact, they want to stay more than a while because the Emperor is there. But they needed to stop. They needed this pause. It is the rite of passage for the twin flame connection. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates there for you, my beautiful Pisceans. It's very complex, this one. So I hope there was something in there that you could acknowledge as a truth or connects to you in some way. So thank you so much and love and light.